So Harjap, welcome to episode 2 of Behind the Hustle. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be on this because, if anyone was going to do this, it should have been you, because you could do everything in-house, and this is what you do. You got the contact, you got the platform, you got the IT skills, and that's what we'll come on and do. But yeah, so congratulations, and I hope it really goes well for you.
No, thank you, Harjap. And like I said, I really appreciate having you on my second episode. And you're one of the inspirations from MATV, watching you on the TV every week. It's like, you know what, this is it. This is the platform, man. This is what we got to do and showcase our talent to the wider audience, you know?
I'm the original UK Punjabi.
You're the original. You know what? Influencer but you know what? You're the original. You're the original UK influencer.
I'm the influencer your parents watch.
That's it. कुछ भी होना हरजाप ने मैंने अदा किया हरजाप ने अदा किया हरजाप ने मैंने न्यूज़ दसी immigration law दसिया
every Friday Harjap da bro.
Boss, man, that's it. You're the key gossip.
I'm the original, still going.
So blessed to have you on the show. So let's just start off, Harjap. Where are you actually born? Are you UK born or India born?
No, UK born. I'm born in a place called Romford in Essex.
East
so
London.
I lived in a village called Rainham in Essex, near Dagenham and Tilbury and Grays, and Romford, and I grew up there. And then, I went to school there. When I went to secondary school, I was the only Asian in my whole secondary school.
Yep, especially in that area.
Another black kid, yeah. So I went to school in Upminster, which is next to Hornchurch. There's a lot of Upper there now because they moved up north to the Seven Kings.
Tons of Upper there now, yeah.
But them days, there wasn't.
No,
so in Rainham, there was only about 20 Asian families, and we all knew each other. And half of them were from the same bend. They were Hotis. So that, they're all the same bend. So we were a very close, sort of tight-knit community. And Rainham was very much a Gura village.
And growing up wise, what made you go into law? Was it one of those things where your mum and dad's like, need lawyer banja, doctor banja? Or was it that something that you always had an interest in?
No, it's exactly what you said. So I became a vakil, and this is honestly because my dad told me to. So from the age of 11, he said, right, vakil banna. I didn't know anything else. So I actually wanted, when I was about 18, I thought I'd wanted to become a teacher. But my dad goes, nope, you're going to become a vakil. So I did what my dad said, because that's what you did in them days.
Yep.
And, I remember one year when, during uni, I didn't want to study. But I said, Dad, mani padna. And my dad, who was a builder, he got a shovel from the garden. He gave it to me. He goes, farport, idle koi qualification nahi chahiye. And for a year, I went to work with Dad. Yeah. As a builder doing shop fronts.
And then after
that, I thought, "Badi lana."
That's hard.
Let's study.
I think we've all been through that. Even my dad, he took me work when I was younger. He was like, you either do this, or you can get educated and get qualified and do something, or you got to struggle. It's a good graft, but again, it's not for our generation, not our blood.
Well, I think because of what it is, we are sort of in the middle as a generation. I call us the lost generation. Appa na India joge na appa ethe fully integrated. The people have integrated us fully here. Right? So we still have got the respect and the teachings that our parents gave down to us, and we can't go fully integrated like our kids or the next generation.
Yeah, sure.
We can't go. We still sort of they do stuff that shocks us, and like we're still like, man, what would my dad think about this?
Yeah, my dad's going to give me beats.
My dad's going to give me beats because of what my kid's doing. But he won't give my kids beats. No. He'll give them to me. Right. So what it is, we thought we'd get our turn, with our kids. No, we can't say nothing to them.
No. The generation's totally changed.
So this was like in that generation, we were stuck in that. We were taught hard work from a young age. We didn't come back home. We were from a rich family. My dad's an only child, but he came here, and when he came here, obviously you come with nothing. So like everyone else, he worked in Fords in Dagenham.
Dad worked there.
All the other ethnic minorities worked there on the production line. So all the Asians and people from Jamaica and the West Indies, they used to work on the production line, right? And they used to work 12 hours, engine plant, and all the hard shifts. They used to work there. And so Dad was working on there. He worked on a Dartford tunnel. I remember so he'd make me go to work during my summer holidays. So when I was 14, I got my first job working for £50 a week in the summer holidays, putting buttons on skirts for C&A. So C&A.
C&A, oh my God, yes.
Yeah, so we used to make skirts for them called clockhouse skirts, and I used to sew the buttons onto school uniform skirts. So that was my first. I used to work 6 days, and I got 50 quid for it. And then with that, I'd buy my tapes and videos and stuff like that. Because it used to be in Upton Park in Green Street.
Yep.
Catherine Road was where the factories were, and there was a factory on the corner called a street factory. It used to be the old Tribal factory, and all the which got the factory on these. So that was my first job. One summer I worked in McDonald's. One summer I worked in Burger King, and one summer I worked in a fish factory, and my job was to take the hadinga out of the fish.
Wow.
Yeah. So work ethic was always there. Dad was like, value of money.
The true hustle.
All the things you grew up listening to, and you thought, oh my God, I'm never going to put my kids through this, right? And then when you have kids, you think, actually, Dad was right. So now I hear myself recycling the lyrics that Dad said to me, and I have to check myself sometimes. And I have to say, oh, hold on. When Dad said this to you, you didn't like it, but now you're saying it to kids. You've turned into your dad. And so I like to say, well, oh my God, man, we have to we are that sort of stuck generation.
But that's a sign of good morals. That's what's made us today, is them gala, that upbringing, that knowledge that our parents gave to us. Like going to work, working at a fish factory. You ask a kid nowadays, you'd be like, see you later, Dad, I'm leaving the house if you make me work there. Hello?
Yeah, I'm allergic to fish. Keeling over and nearly dying. Yeah, it was so back in the days, you're right, those times were different. And we were built for different times. The kids nowadays, the times are different, and you have to move with the times. Otherwise, time leaves you behind.
No, 100%.
So it was all be tiksi, every toria tiki yagam. We'll have to sort of handle it. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that we probably don't agree with. It doesn't fit with our culture. It doesn't fit with our religion. It doesn't fit with our upbringing. But you know what? Then we have to think with a broader mind and a broader mentality. And life's all about growth, I think, right? So if I'm still stuck where I was 20 years ago, I haven't grown. So there are bits in my life which I did. I look back on now, I think, what the heck were you doing, Harjap? What the heck were you doing and thinking? But then I thought that's all part of my journey. That's all been part of my journey, and I'm all growing and still growing to this day.
Did you work for like a legal firm when you come out of uni, like a mainstream?
Well, and I'll tell you, it took me so I finished uni at the age of about everyone does, 22. Right. Then you come out and then you try to look for a job. It took me it should take 2 years to qualify as a vakil after uni. So it took me till the age of 28. It took me about 6 years to qualify.
Oh, wow.
So first, I had an experience where I went to work for this law firm in East London. So it was in Aldgate. So my first experience was I couldn't get any work, so I was working with Dad as a builder. After I finished my law degree, we went to fit windows at this place, and it was a firm of solicitors. And it was a firm of solicitors. I was fitting windows with Dad, and the boss asked, he goes, your son's got a really good grasp of languages, And he goes, what did you do? And my dad goes, he's got a law degree. And he goes, why is he fitting windows with you? He goes, no one's going to give him a job. No one gives him a job. I wrote, and typed out, because we didn't have PCs and all that, and we had the old stepladder.
Tick.
Our handwritten. I wrote out about 400 applications. I got 0 interviews. And out of them, only about 30, 40 even bothered to write back saying thank you for your CV. The rest probably just threw them in the bin. That's how competitive it was, if you didn't know. So my break came when I was fitting windows. And then that guy goes, well, why doesn't he come and work with me? So I said, I'd love to. So when I went to work the first day, he showed me all the books on immigration. And he goes, I want you to swallow these. And I was not physically swallow, but I want you to read them, digest them, and know everything about it, Because there was no internet at the time. You couldn't get the information.
Can't Google anything.
You have to read in the books. That's how we did our exams as well. Right, so there was no AI and all of that stuff. You had to actually get through graft. So I literally sat there and I read all these books day and night. Then he said to me, people are going to phone, and I'm going to put them through to you, and you're going to answer their queries. And I said, what? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, you're going to look in the book and answer their queries. I find me the relevant paragraph and all that. That's what I started to do. And because of my languages, I was really good. I worked there for a year, and then that firm, the firm closed down. Many money kismat. So I was just as it turned my turn to get a training contract. So I thought, fuck man, I'm fast again. Now then, I had a mate who I was at uni with, yeah, and he'd been quite successful after uni, and his brother was a struggling lawyer. So he said to me that, Harjap, why don't you come and work with my brother? Yeah. So I said, all right. And I thought, the brother goes, look, I've got permission to give training contracts. I'll give you a training contract, but you've got to work hard. So what that guy did is he made me sign on, made me work for free. Yeah. And literally, I had this wicked idea of developing a business. Yeah. And I developed it for him. And I thought, let's start advertising claims on TV.
Oh, wow.
That's why there's a company that's around today, and I won't mention their name. Mm-hmm. I was in the first ever advert. So I designed that advert, I starred in that advert, and it was a huge success. We were doing like 100, 200 claims a month. All at the same time, he made me live with people who didn't have visas. So I used to live on Stratford Road. Mm-hmm. Behind there, about 2 roads behind there, there's a road called Esme Road in Spark Hill. And Spark Hill is like one of the roughest areas in Birmingham. Yeah?
So from London, you moved to Birmingham just to work with this guy?
For a year, yeah. Okay. So this is where my sort of love relationship with Birmingham comes in. Right. And in them days, we didn't have sat-navs. And I was young and chudda in them days. Yeah. So I used to grab the car, yeah, just drive all around Birmingham, and I could spend my nights out and partying and all of that. In the day, I'd work.
Broad Street.
Yeah, Broad Street. You know, we'd go out, have a laugh, go to the local like men's working clubs as well and all of that. And sort of like, and go and meet up and there. But remember, I used to live with a legal Punjabi Munde. It was from then that I began to sort of listen to their problems every day. And they would ask me, look, Harjap, ਏਦਾਂ ਹੈ ਮੇਰੀ situation ਹੈ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਏ ਨੂੰ 12 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ 15 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ because I haven't seen my mum and dad for like 15 years. Some goes I left my kids when they were 1 and came over here. I haven't seen them for 12 years. And you know, it was quite sort of dukhi kahaniya, right? And then on the face of it, their main entertainment was Friday night up on Meet Banana. And in them days we didn't even have Sky. So what happened was I would go home on the weekends, record my Sky on VCRs, all the songs like Be For You music, yeah. All the songs with the latest Punjabi, and come back and play it on that VCR that we had.
Just to entertain them.
Just to let them know, like, this is going on in the world. And used to like, so that was our entertainment on Friday nights. So we used to, on Saturday nights, we'd have that and get blocked to do a bit of bhangra. Yeah. So I was literally living like an illegal. So I was setting up this £1 million company for this bloke. Then when one day, I remember I was at my low point, yeah. This guy used to slave drive me, yeah. My low point was, it was Christmas Day, and he made me work Christmas Day. Alone, above a post office on Stratford Road, yeah. I was working, and I just broke down. And I couldn't stop crying. And I phoned my mum. I said, Mum was like, it's Christmas Day, why aren't you here with your family? I said, Mum, I'm working. And you know, my dad heard that conversation, yeah. And he said, forget this, Harjap, I'm going to come and get you. Yeah. Then I said, no, Dad, this guy's offered me a training contract. When I approached this guy about where's my training contract and did some research, because remember, it was not on the internet in them days. No, yeah. He hadn't even applied for the permission.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So
he just used you.
A year for free, made this guy millions, gave him £1 million idea, was the face of his brand on TV. Yeah. But I had nothing to show for it. Not even a training contract, yeah, or any money. And
that was your motivation?
Well, when Dad realised that whole situation, well, then I remember, I'll tell you what saved me, yeah? So God sends your angels in different forms, yeah? Mm-hmm. And he sends your devils in different forms as well, right? Mm. So that guy for me was the devil. But his own brother, who I'd been uni with, once invited me round for dinner. And I sat with him and his wife, yeah? And I was explaining my situation to his wife, which is the bubby of this guy who was torturing me, yeah, basically, yeah, and abusing me, yeah. So, and she goes, Harjap, this isn't right. You're getting done here. And then her own brother, who was my mate at uni and had lived with me at uni, yeah. So we were like proper tight friends, like brothers, yeah. Said to me now to his wife, no, don't you get involved. Don't you get involved in this. Let them. God. Then I went back and thought, you know what? I thought about my friend. तेरे नाल तो तेरी घर वाली चंगी है. मैं तो उन जानदा भी नहीं एक हद तक उन मेरी फायदे दी गल की. And she realised. And she said to me, she goes, "Ina prama de gallan ch na aaji tu." Right? And then and I thought, you, who should have been pointing this out, you've been silent. You've been complicit in this. Yeah? So when I explained all this to Dad, Dad goes, right, I'm coming straight down and I'm going to pick you up. Dad came down on the 27th of December, took me and went back and waved bye-bye to Birmingham.
Yeah? How old were you then?
I was around about maybe, this was the year 2000.
Okay.
So I was about 25.
So still young.
Yeah, still young. Yeah. So then I came back. The only thing I had to my name was the experience that I'd had. I went to a firm in Goodmayes, gave an interview. Guy took me on straight away. Took me on, set up an immigration department for him because I'd had all this knowledge on immigration.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Got him a legal aid contract with the legal aid board to do immigration. And then what happened was I used to go to the detention centres to free all the upper bande who were stuck in like Dover and Cambridge and Oxford. So I was that man, basically, when upper bande get caught. I went to a detention centre and I walked out with about 10 cases and 10 files. As I was walking, another solicitor saw me there. And he goes, you know, you got loads of cases? And I said, yeah. And he goes, why don't you come and join us? And I thought, all right. And then at the firm he was, another one of my uni mates worked there.
Okay.
Right? So I thought, all right, fair enough. So then I switched. Finally, I qualified in 2002. Yeah. And then I was happy working in Ilford. Then after a certain time you've been at a firm, you should get a partnership. So it's your turn to become a partner. When it was my turn to become a partner, yeah, I walked in one day, all of my stuff was packed on a desk in a box.
Typical. I knew that was coming.
Right. And what happened was they said, off you go. You know, you're not getting a partnership. And they made my trainee, who I was training up, escort me downstairs.
Oh,
I put my stuff in my car. For me, that was one of the most humiliating experiences I've ever had. But that was actually a defining moment. And at that time, I didn't recognize it. Because then I thought, right, you know what, Harjap, I'm not going to work for anybody now. I thought, "Aisi apna kaam karna."
That was the moment.
Right. And then I thought, right, who are my clients? Then I thought, right, the illegals. I thought, there's none in Raynham or Romford, Harjap. Where are they all coming from? Southall, Hayes, Hounslow, Birmingham. Right. So then I thought, right, I've got to go to the well. The well isn't going to come to me. If you want to drink some water, you got to go to the well.
Well.
So then what I did is I started looking for an office in Southall. I spent 3 weeks coming every day to Southall. Every day. And I couldn't find nothing. The best room I could find was above a place called Balika Bazaar in Southall, yeah, on the Broadway. It was on the second floor, pigeon infested. There was no front entrance. There was these corrugated iron steps that you had to walk up 2 steps. No old person could ever get up there, yeah? And it was that. And there was no ceiling. All the pigeons had made a house there and the goon kar karke unhone sari carpet lagayi thi. So then I came back after 3 weeks and I said, Dad, main nahi apna firm kholna, meri bas hai. I said, "Apna Raynham to koi aave na aave, doesn't matter, yeah? I'm happy as I am," right? He goes to me, he goes, "Tu edhar kar, mainu tu ek mauka de." I said, all right. I said, yeah, my dad goes, "Man, Sultan." So the theme here is my supportive dad, obviously, right? And this is it. And we're coming from how did you become a lawyer? So dad plays a really important part in this, right? And because I'd put it on dad, and I put it on dad like, "Main tu mainu vakeel banaya, main to banna nahi chahunda si, main to IT karna si, teacher banna si." He felt a bit of sense of, right, you know what? You just don't know how to do it. All right. So he left home 7 o'clock. Yeah. Because we had to get the trains to come to Southall in them days, yeah? The central lines and all of the district line, central line, yeah? And then, so he left 7 o'clock. I got a phone call about 10 o'clock in the morning from Dad. He goes, "Harjap." He goes, "Aja Sultan." I said, he goes, "My lovely office." And I said, "What? In 2 hours?" He goes, "No, in 1 hour." He goes, "मैं 9 बजे आया." He goes, "I can't do it." And he goes, "बंदे अपने नवे शहर दे." And I said, "Where is it?" He goes, "Brani Sultan, above the Havelock Arms pub, on the corner where Havelock Road's Gurdwara is." Yeah? And that corner is very significant in my story, and as we'll go along, right? So I went there, and what it was just 2 rooms, 2 bedrooms, which had been let to illegal immigrants. and owner was from Nomashad, Mr. Baines, and he said, "Harjap, main tele yaar 2 room khali kar दूं." And I said, "All right, fair enough. Let's do it from here. You got to start from somewhere." Yeah, it was rat infested. It was stairs going up it, but the location was good. So I said, "Harjap, all right, let's go for it." It had no internet, no Wi-Fi. Yeah. So I remember I sat my firm there. Yeah. My first receptionist, guess who it was?
God.
My dad.
Your dad.
So you got this guy who's 8th fail in India. He didn't go to school.
But look at that.
He became a receptionist.
You're saying that, but look at the support that he's got, the knowledge he's got,
Oh man.
the craft he's got, the hustle he's got. He's basically got you an office an hour. Determination, motivation.
You know what? I made my put into a vakil, and I'm going to make him succeed. Yeah. Even if he thinks he can't, I'm going to,
He
the
believed
chips
in you.
might be down, but they're not out. Yeah. He's not going to do what I did. That's it. That's your dad. Everyone who's listening, their dads. Yeah. Us now about our kids. What's the one thing we want? We don't want our kids. I always say, someone says to me, "I want my kid to be just like me." I said, "I don't. I want my kid to be better than me."
Better.
Yeah, right. I want my kid to be better than me. If my kid's just as good as me, I'll be a bit gutted. I'll say, because you know what? I got so far on limited resources in a time of no internet, no phones, blah, 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 yeah? And I'm not like 80. I'm still in my 40s, yeah? But that was it. That's the way it was, right? No support, no big money bags around, yeah? I said, if you lot, with all of this support and new age technology and AI and all of this stuff,
And you still can't do anything.
You still can't become better than me. Then you need to just up your game. right. Then, so I started from there. I remember I had an audit from the Law Society.
Oh God!
And they required internet connection, and I didn't have an internet socket. So what I did from my laptop, I ran one of them, them telephone wires that connected to your, and a big what's it called? A LAN port? I don't know what sort of wire it's called. It's very appropriately named. That wire, I ran it from the phone. I ran it all the way outside Havelock Road building, into the pub, through the roof, and they had a socket.
Plugged it through there?
Through the whole pub. So there was this wire, as people went to the pub, there was this wire dividing the pub. And that was my internet wire. And then I was thinking, I had to in the middle of my audit. And I did the audit. And this is how people pulled together for me. They were like, no problem.
What was that feeling like that first day? You got the keys, your dad's sitting as a receptionist. Did you have that vision in your head straight away that, I'm going to make this into something big?
No, but I thought, you know what? Things are falling into place. And I thought, things are falling into place. Harjap, you wanted to be sitting in the right place in Southall. You are. You're sitting in the primest location. And if now you can't make a go of it with your skill set of languages, yeah, you're in the hub of people speaking Punjabi. And there's hardly any other UK-born kids out there, Harjap, who talk as good as Punjabi as you. No, I did a Punjabi A-level and a Punjabi GCSE, and I got A grades for both. And I was the only person in 1991 in Havering to sit my GCSE A-level, because I remember I was in the exam. And in the exam, there's a hall, yeah? There were 3 invigilators, and I was the only one sitting there. And I remember saying to the invigilators, 2 of you can go home. Who am I going to copy? Same again for A-level in 1993, London Borough of Havering. I was the only one sitting my A-level.
Again, it goes back to your parents again. They pushed you to learn Punjabi, speak Punjabi.
Now, here's the key. Rainham doesn't have a Gurdwara. Our nearest Gurdwara is Barking or Grays. So we couldn't go to Punjabi lessons. So my mum taught me at the age of 14 how to read and write Punjabi. And I picked it up. And I'd watched a lot of Punjabi films when I was younger, listened to Punjabi songs like we all do, Listened to a lot of Hindi films. So I picked it up really well. But the books for it could only be bought in Southall at Verdi Brothers, which was on King Street. Right, which is on King Street, right? So I came from Rainham all the way to buy these books written by a person who's still alive called J.S. Nagra from Coventry. And J.S. Nagra is single-handedly responsible for GCSE and A-level Punjabi being around today.
Wow.
Right. And that guy fought a whole system to get GCSE Punjabi A-level, to the fact that when I got my A-level results and I got an A in Punjabi, when I applied to uni, they wouldn't accept it. They didn't accept my A-level Punjabi. They said, no, that's your native tongue. And I said, but you accept the white people's English grades, don't you? And I said, that's their native tongue. And I said, it isn't my native tongue. I'm born and bred here. I had to learn it, just like everyone else did. We don't come out of our mum's womb having learnt Punjabi, do we?
Punjabi, yeah, no, of course
You
not.
had to read and write it. And then for the A-levels, it's quite hard. You've got to read the novels and stuff like that. So for me, that was like, I thought, right, with your skill set, Harjap, you got to make a go of this. Look where you're sitting. Right, remember, I'd swallowed all the Bibles on immigration, and I was young hotshot. So I knew my stuff, and all the people in detention knew who I was as well. So then I started. My work. Slowly, them 2 rooms became 3 rooms, 4 rooms, 5 rooms, yeah?
You had the whole floor at one point.
I had the whole floor, yeah.
Yeah.
I had the whole floor, right. So I had the whole floor. I employed Apane as well. So I employed our own, because what I'd find was I used to get applications from our own, and they'd say the same thing. We've applied to a lot of firms and we haven't even got an interview. No one gives us a look in. British Asians, hardly get a look in other firms. So I said, you know what, you're not going to have them 400 letters like I did. Send them out. I'll give you a chance. If you work hard, then I'll give you a chance. And then so I did. I expanded as a firm. And then I started doing radio shows, TV shows. The BBC picked me up, and I did a show with Nahal for 12 years on the BBC Asian Network.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, every month. They're the ones who dubbed me the immigration guru.
Right.
So we used to do a live calling on the BBC Asian Network in English about immigration, and you couldn't get through. The lines were so rammed. And people used to think that immigration is just a problem for Desi people who come off the boat. But actually, all our callers were British Asians who wanted to know stuff about their cousins, about their uncles and aunties. So, we made it work on a platform such as the BBC Asian Network. Every month I used to do that.
And at that time, that was the marketing. So there wasn't no TikToks and Instagrams and all of that.
No, it was TV and radio and newspaper.
And you utilised it to the max.
Yeah, in the newspapers we had the Des Per Des and Punjab Times. So you'd put a little...
Did you advertise in Des Per Des?
100%. I still got all the copies.
Oh, wicked.
And there are still people out there, and they'll know if their mum and dad got the Des Per Des. Their mum and dads have still got their Des Per Deses in the garage somewhere or in the loft somewhere. Still got all the editions because they don't want to throw them away.
Especially the covers, the iconic covers.
On there. Yeah. So you're not going to throw that away, right?
That was another clever marketing tactic. Put Babaji's picture on it, no one's going to throw it away.
It's like for Babaji, it was a young Mutiar.
one or the other.
And when you're in your 40s, you don't throw neither away. So they used to the Des Per Des was the only way you'd get your news, radio, TV, and that was the marketing. There was no internet, there was no TikTok, there was no Insta. You're quite right. And there was none of this thing. There was no followers. There was there's no one to follow. Yeah.
Yep.
So then what happened was someone started uploading my clips, funny clips from YouTube. And they'd started doing the rounds on people's phones and stuff like that. And people would send them to me. And they say, Baji, have you seen this? And I said, of course I've seen it. I'm bloody in it. And they go, no, can we dekla? Right? And I thought, blimey, what is YouTube? Then I went onto YouTube and began to work it out. Then after about 3 years, I set up my own account. Yeah. So there was some other guy who was
posting your content. I remember.
And he got about 40,000 followers. And I thought, I haven't even got my own account. I made other ikavani. So then I started doing my own stuff and then posting my own stuff, growing my followers, got on Twitter, Facebook. I started posting my stuff. But even in my shows, I started bringing guests on. Then I sort of turned it into a community show as opposed to callers as well. Then I started interviewing guests and giving them information. Like I'd bring someone on, say just like you, a doctor, dentist, an IT professional, someone who works, a policeman, bring them on and interview them, get them to get all the information out because I had a lot of viewers. So everywhere I'd go, auntie and uncle say, Harjap, we watch your show. And I'd get kids come up to me and say, we can't get the remote off our mum and dad's between 7 and 8. We're told that's it. Harjap, that's it. And women would say to me, we have to make sure our roti's made and finished by 7 o'clock. We don't get to eat till 8 because your show comes on and that we're all made to watch it. And I used to ask kids born and bred here. I say, all right, your mum and dad might want to watch the show because they're from India.
Why are you
watching it? They go, well, actually, we quite like it. It's quite funny and you get to know what's going on in the world and you get to know where people's problems are at. And so, it developed sort of cult viewing. I like that really. And
how long was you in Saful for?
16 years.
16 years. And now you've moved to Slough, right?
I'm now moved to Brentford. So Hounslow.
Okay.
So I'm right opposite GSK. That's because of two sort of main reasons. One was I was beginning to get a bit depressed at the daily sort of goings on looking outside my window. So outside my window, I'd see drug dealers, alcohol abusers, prostitutes on a daily basis, fights. I'd have people stand in my doorway shooting themselves up with drugs, and it wasn't family friendly. I didn't feel like coming into work. So how am I going to ask others to come and see me there? Besides, we were right next to a gurdwara, yeah? There's just a few benches in between us. Yeah? Right. So on them benches, you used to see druggies, and they used to, with a tagga, they used to pop their nerve, and they used to shoot up, and women and kids used to be walking past, and they still do that.
They still do that, yeah.
Yeah, they still do that. And I used to say to them, why do you have to do it next to a gurdwara? And they said, I said, thodi get next to a gurdwara, you do this sort of stuff. Like where you are. And like, look who's walking past, kids and women. So they don't feel safe.
No.
And there was a little alley that used to go to Hammond Road from Havelock Road. They had to like cage that up because there were sexual assaults down that little alley on innocent women as they were walking past.
Yeah, no, Southall has got bad.
It all used to go, like back in the day, I remember we found, we was on a patrol with some Sikh organisation, and we found a girl from India, pregnant, who had been abandoned, sleeping in a phone box. Then we had to get social services in. She'd just been abandoned. She'd been called over by some other illegal here. He'd knocked her up and they sod you. So it was like there was a lot of problems. I remember the day when opposite the Gurdwara there's a graveyard.
Yeah.
One Munda was so dukkhi with his situation and his family, he burnt himself alive. I didn't even know the word for burning yourself alive. It's called immolation.
Oh wow, okay.
Wow, so he immolated himself. He poured petrol on himself in front of him and burnt himself alive. That's how things were bad when Southall. So when it reaches that sort of stage where you don't want to go into work or you need to change your life for your mental health, you need to move. As much as I love South, when I still go back, once a week and I still go in my community, but every day that was getting to me. Plus there was no parking.
Yeah.
Right, so every 3 hours you had to move your car, yeah. Then it was like, there was very few safety there. And then the thing that really made me move was opposite me, my barber's. One day, his shop just went up in flames because what happened was there was a couple of people living in a flat and they had been messing around with the cylinder, right, to dunk on this, whatever they were doing, yeah, and it blew up and 3 people died.
Yeah, it was on the news. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember filming it when I came in. I thought, what the heck? And I thought, lucky I wasn't there for a trim. I would have made all the And like when I saw that, I thought, Harjap, man, it's like I said, if you die yourself because of your actions, you're to blame.
Yeah, but not someone else.
I've got families who work for me here, and I've got people who work for me here. I've got young single people. I've got families here, mums who work here. Here come taken. So then I
remember when you called me, you were like, "I'm Harjap. I need you to come see me."
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, Charlie, where's your office?" Southall. You gave me the address, and I remember walking up the stairs. One, it was a big thing, you calling me to say, "Buddy, I need some help with my design work."
Yeah.
But secondly, I was like, right, this doesn't seem safe. This seems a bit dingy. And I remember, going up the stairs, the light flickering. You go to your receptionist.
That's right.
But it was the real deal because you see the people sitting there waiting for you as like a god. Excuse anything, but people, their lifeline is on you. And that call for saying, I've got no website at that time. I've got no branding. I've got nothing. Can you just look after? Yeah, that's what it was. And you're like saying,
I said, right, Tej, and we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
And you're the one who said, actually, you know what, Buddy, you need to enter the world, and you need to enter the modern day. You need to have your own website and your domain name and all of that. See, I was using a yahoo.co.uk address, right? You know that.
How important was that though, having that journey from using a design agency or a creative like me to help you in your business?
Mate, 100%. And sometimes I wonder how I got to where I got without any of that guidance. So I think, Harjap, have you just been lucky that you've been on YouTube and stuff like this? Because I didn't even have a YouTube account, right? So, and I, all I had was a Facebook account, which I had opened in 2008. That tells you, so the limit. Then I thought, right, I need some professional guidance. I need to meet the person who does all of this. And then some people referred me to you. So I asked about 5 or 6 people, and they said, look, one person, Tej na gal kar. And I said, right, okay, right, I've got to talk to Tej. And so then I called you and I said, Dad, you got to, then you told me, buddy, this. We need to do all of this to bring you into the modern age. Then I thought, at first you get a bit daunted. You better think, right, is this all necessary? Do I need to do this? Now I'm sitting here thinking, maybe 10 years later.
Yeah.
First, I should have done it earlier.
Yeah.
Secondly, the more I do, the better. I can't do enough. You
Definitely.
can't be on enough platforms.
No.
You have to be everywhere.
Yep.
Right? If you're running a business, you have to be in everyone's faces. Even you might have to be on some platforms where 99% of people don't even want your services, but you have to be there.
That's the key. Yeah.
So it's like these shops on Oxford Street, right, where you see that hardly anyone goes in, like these makeup shops, like Inglot, blah blah blah, and all of this, right? And you sit there and you think, right, £1 million rent da dinde salda, but in a gag to koi nahi hunda. Yeah. So why are they making money to cover their rent? And then you realise that, they're worldwide, actually. They have to have that presence. If you got your brand worldwide, you have to have a presence there, yeah? Well, so that is a key. You've got to have a presence on all sort of platforms. And you told me straight from number one, he goes, Baji, your content is brilliant. He goes, no one can beat your content because it's proper bang on, and I developed my brand of telling people how it is, telling it straight, not giving the la la la, not saying hoju. I used to tell them straight, get bana sakda ya nahi. Yeah, and that's why the lines were there outside my office. That's why people still come today. They go, we need to hear something straight. We've been messed around by XYZ solicitor. We need to come to you. And then
that's the difference that you've got. You've got Harjap as a personal brand, and then you've got your actual legal firm brand. And in my eyes, your personal brand is a lot bigger than your legal firm because you are the branding. You are the person that everyone wants to work with.
I guarantee 99% people watching this show don't even know the name of my firm. Do you know when people phone up and ring my office, our receptionist, Auntie answered it, hello, GLS solicitors, and they go, Ki? Nahi, aise to Harjap na GLS solicitors. They go, nahi, appa Harjap na daftar. And I sat there and thought so many times, Tej, I thought I'm going to rename my firm Harjap na daftar. Limited.
You know what? Let's get that done, man. Let's register the domain and let's get the website going.
I said that would be like, that's what I need, innit? Because then people were like, Harjap na daftar ya? I'm like, yeah, that's great.
But that's the work that you've done in your own branding, your own marketing, and that is so important nowadays.
Unknowingly, Veg. Unknowingly. I haven't done it knowingly. You know how much I knew about this because when you came to see me, I didn't know F4. I'm not a marketing guru. I'm just some guy who comes on TV and radio and just says it how it is, and your mum and dad watch and they have a laugh and they go, Harjap Singh, and that's it. That's sort of my brand is telling the truth, right? Straight up. I suppose that's my sort of people see me as honesty and integrity, right? And that's how I want my brand to be. But I don't have a physical brand. You can't, as such, I haven't got
You'd be surprised.
The card holders, the belts, the kache, the overalls. You got it.
They're coming soon. They're coming soon. Don't worry.
I haven't even got a cup. I haven't even got a Harjap Bhangal cup.
You know what? My page, that I know. I'll do after this. I'll send you a Harjap Bhangal mug. Yeah. But just in your career thing, what's your highest moments that you've had where you're like, you know what? This is what I'm on the earth to do. Like, this is what I'm here to do.
My people have seen me, as they say, Harjap, you're the bridge between the youngsters and the older community. Because the older sit and listen to you, and you speak to them in their language, and he goes, the youngsters see you as a person who can communicate with them. Because you're born and bred here, they can identify with you. So for me, I see that as probably my biggest achievement. When it's not as if I went out to do that, it's just what I've become. So if tomorrow, say someone like you had a problem with your dad, I could come in and make both parties see each other, shake hands and do japia, and like both your parties would do right, and I'm mediate as such. I'm the sort of bridge which explains it. So that for me is one achievement. I think one of my other achievements is actually when I was got a phone call from a media agency, and they said, we want to come and film a documentary with you in Southall. I said, what about? It goes, illegal immigration. And they go, we're going to spend 3 days with you, right? And I said, all right, who's in it? They go, Ross Kemp. And I said, what, Grant Mitchell? And they go, yeah. And I said, what are you shooting? Gangs of Southall? They go, not quite, right? So then I spent 3 days with Ross Kemp in Southall, showing him around. And I remember as I was walking around, I started getting Facebook notifications saying, have I just seen you walk down King Street with Grant Mitchell?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, blimey, you're walking down with Ross Kemp. Like,
that was a big moment for all of us, like to see you on TV with Ross. I was like, wow, man, that's when you know that there's something there,
We're crazy. And I remember the first time I went on BBC TV and Sky News, like, are they like, I remember they to go, right, go to the green room. And I said, but on the green room, then they sat me down and started doing makeup on me. And I said, I need to And they're like, no, you've got to put makeup on and starting like this. And I remember when I was on Sky News, I love, it's quite a pinnacle for me.
Oh, let's talk about the movie. You were in a movie as well, right?
Yeah, I've done 4 now.
4?
Yeah.
Look at that, man. From lawyer, vakil to actor.
Yeah, and my latest one is an actual proper Bollywood one. So I've done 3 Punjabi films.
Okay.
And I've done 1 Hindi film now, just shot last year. And that's releasing this year. That's got a Poonam Dillon, Sharat Saxena, Jimmy Shegal in it, Eli Avram. And so, all my other films, and that was a funny story as well. I've got a lot of funny stories, man.
We'll do that for part 2, Hannah.
Yeah.
but just generally in life, what motivates you?
What motivates me?
What motivates you? Every morning when you wake up, what makes you get out of bed? What motivates you?
My parents and my kids and my family. So, in one word, family. Family motivates me. Yeah, family motivates me because I go out and earn a living for them. Yeah, I've seen times where I've had to have roti with loon, nothing else. Yeah, I've slept on floors. When me and my dad opened our office in Birmingham, we used to sleep on a floor on an inflatable mattress. I've still got the inflatable mattress as a reminder. I couldn't afford to book a hotel, so I used to work in that office next to Smevik Godara. Then we used to go to sleep in the back bit there with inflatable mattress. And it was the most uncomfortable sleep ever in the night. But we used to no curtains, no nothing, no bed, no rajai, just a gumball and inflatable mattress. Me and my dad did that for about 1.5 years.
Wow.
Like I remember, when things were quite tight. It's something that, like for me, it's family is the ultimate motivation. If I want to live, I'm happy, bro. I was happy flipping burgers in McDonald's. That was the best time in my life because roti free मिल जाती थी. Now I have to pay for it. Yeah, उसने free मिल जाता सी milkshake. मैं अपने break च 2 chicken patty पाਉਂदा ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ.
That's it done.
Yeah, I caused them more नुकसान than I made them. Right, but so I was happy in them days, Tej, doing all of that, and for me, that's the biggest motivation for me is family. Then it's community. Helping my community excel, seeing others in my community excel, seeing the new youngsters and the sports people excel. So I interviewed a lot of these guys before they even became sportsmen. So I've always wanted our women especially to be empowered. I've seen the women in our community be oppressed and depressed and suppressed. So there's a lot of S going on, right? But I want them to get on their own feet and do best. And like I said, I want other people's kids to do better than me. When people say, but you want our kid to be like you, and I said, no, I don't wish that. I want them to be better than me. I want them to one day sit in the place where I'm sitting and say, Uncle, tu retire ho ja. And I'll be like, thank you. Now I can die in peace. Yeah, I don't want to die at a desk. Yeah, and I nearly died at a desk. So you're looking at someone who nearly died at a desk.
Let's talk about that quickly.
Yeah.
Let's delve it. Let's go into that. What actually happened? Because I know
what happened.
It got serious.
Yeah, it got very serious. So on Tuesday I went to Birmingham. I had a jacket potato for lunch, yeah, with cheese and beans. So all in the afternoon, I just felt as if rotini bayandi like food on your shatti, yeah. So I thought it's indigestion. I came home that night. I said, Mum, I've got a bit of indigestion. What do mums do? Yeah, so that's a universal cure for everything is jarpi, yeah. So I thought, all right, Mum, jarpi. So you can have your arm chopped off, and your mum will say jarpi. Jarpi. So I thought, all right. The next day I got up and I thought, right, still, got a bit of gas there. I said, I don't know what it is. Haven't been gym for 2 weeks. So I'll go gym. I went to the gym, did a 5K, had a sauna and a steam, felt a little bit better. Then Wednesday evening, I still felt a bit, but I went to sleep on it. Thursday morning, I do the school runs on Thursdays. So I was just about to go out and my mum goes, and this is when you talk about my dad supporting me, right, is an example of my mum. My mum goes, "Tere old tightness gas jam." She goes, hospital, it'll be empty hopefully now, and you'll be out in an hour. And I thought, you know what, Mum? I wanted to go shopping in Hounslow because it was my day off, Thursdays, yeah? And then, right, that tells you, look, mothers instinctively know when their kids are in danger. It's just a God gift. And even if you don't care about yourself, my mum has spent the last 2 days worrying. It must have been in the back of her head or the front of her head, didn't it, right?
They still do
so
that.
Even when you think no one cares for you and you're in dark days, your mum's still there caring for you. This is what Ma is. It's unconditional love. There's no conditions on a mother's love. Yeah? So I said, all right. So I dropped my kids off. Well, I dropped my daughter off at school. She was 6 at the time. Then I said, all right. I drove into the hospital. Drove into A&E. First time in my life in West Middlesex Hospital, there's no one in the A&E queue. Total empty A&E, just a receptionist. I've never seen it before or after that moment. I went there. I said to her, no, I've got a bit of indigestion. She goes, all right, we'll chuck you on the machines and see what it is. And they go, where is it? In your chest. So they put me on an ECG. ECG's fine. ECG comes back fine. They go, but they said, because you've said you've got indigestion, like it's in your chest, we're going to have to do the blood tests. Right. So I said, all right. So they did a blood test. I was on my phone. About 40 minutes later, there's a huddle of doctors outside my cubicle. And I could see them. And there's sort of activity going on. And then I was listening to their conversation and I heard a word called troponin. So I Googled it. And it said, troponin, an enzyme released when your heart's under attack. So I looked at that and I thought, what? Right. Then I called the doctor over. I said, I don't. And he goes, yeah. I said, is there a problem? He goes, yeah. He goes, I said, what is it? He goes, you've got a problem with your heart. And I said, well, you better fix it. I've got a school run at 2 o'clock. And he goes, job karke bhaiya. And he goes, jenu tu phone karna karla. So he said, you better call who you need to call. Now, when he said that, my sort of world changed, because that's the words that you're told when an elderly person is in the hospital is about to die, right? Your 80, 90-year-old granddad's about to die. That's what they say to call whoever you want to call. Fucking hell, mate. I shit myself. Right, I thought, what? I phoned my dad, yeah? And my wife came. My mum couldn't come because my little one was only 1 year old. So she had to say, so I WhatsApp called that. I couldn't get any words out because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to tell my mum that I'd been having a heart attack for 2 days. The doctor said to me, if you hadn't come in the next 12 hours, you would have been collapsed on the street. You hear about banda dekh pe mar gaya. Yeah? And he goes, we're taking you into surgery now. So you got about half an hour to call in. So I had a 10-minute phone call with my mum and I couldn't get a word out and she couldn't get a word out. And we just cried to each other. And then I put the phone down. And then at that point, Tej, when they were wheeling me into surgery, yeah, and my dad was there at my side, you know what? I thought, I've got property, cars, watches, phones. I'm a guy, and I'm sure many guys are watching this and girls watching it. I don't go to the toilet without my phone. Yeah? I didn't give a shit about any of those things. I didn't care. I didn't care about anything. You know, people can't go leave home without their car keys, their phones, their watches, their clothes, sorted there and there. Nothing mattered. Do you know what I thought? Because my kids were 6 and 1. All I thought was, Rabba, mainu kal da suraj dikhal de. Show me the sunrise tomorrow, God. I said, do you know what? Just show me the sunrise. Went in for surgery. Luckily, it was successful. Yeah. Double bypass. I'm all pretty good now. Yeah. But I was, hours away from dying, minutes away probably from dying. And then I did that video from my hospital bed. And that went viral everywhere, right? Because I was there for the last 7-8 days and no one had heard from me.
No,
it's not something, right? I couldn't comprehend it myself. When I was in the ward and I woke up in the ward, all around me were 78-year-olds who had heart surgery. They looked at me and they go, what are you doing here? How old are you? I said, I'm 44. They go, how old are your kids? I said, 6 and 1. They go, what are you doing here? And I said, you know what? I'm sitting here wondering the same thing. What am I doing here? Yeah. And the reason was poor lifestyle choices, total neglect, throwing myself into the business, into the hustle. What's behind the hustle? Your question. I'll tell you what's behind the hustle. You can work yourself to death. Well, like I did. I hustled, yeah. Damn, I hustled hard to get where I am today. Slept on floors. You know, I've had low points. I've slept on a floor and woke up with a mouse staring at me, like doing bhangra in front of me. And we're so besharam that you're here in Southall, they don't even move. They just stand there and say, come on then. Right, what are you going to do about it, right? So I've had days like that, yeah. And then I was just, it was, that's what's behind the hustle. You hustle by all means. Don't kill yourself for it, because when you're on your deathbed, or when you're in a hospital looking at a ceiling for 10 days straight, you've got a lot of time to think, and you need to make sure that you're in a position to hustle. So you need your health, you need your fitness, you need to be mentally strong and in the game. I've seen people have mental breakdowns where they can't stop crying for weeks. It happened to me once. I turned up to work and I just started crying. The receptionist goes, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I don't know why I'm crying. I just need to go home. I need to go home, take a week off, and just want to go home." She goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I just want to go home and watch my films. My indie films that I watched as a kid. I want to revisit my childhood." And I don't know what happened.
That's important. People don't take that time off. It's okay to be a kid. It's all right to sit there and watch TV. It's okay to be lazy. This whole culture of go, 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 stop wasting time. You got, 12 hours a day to do this. You need time for yourself. And I think a lot of people, and me included, I've understood that, where you got to take a sit back. If you want to sleep, you sleep. If you need a nap, you need a nap. If your body's telling you something, listen to it.
Do you know when I first heard that word hustle?
Go on.
In McDonald's, when I worked in McDonald's.
Wow.
So they would say hustle, hustle, hustle. And I said, "What's hustle mean?" They go, "Wipe this, look busy, always look busy." And I said, "Why am I going to wipe the same table for the 20th time when I haven't put anything on it?" They go, "No, you've got to look busy, look like you're always doing something. You can't look villa."
That's
right?
You can't.
And that's right. What a concept. Head fuck and a body fuck concept that is.
Yeah.
Even when there's nothing that needs to be done, you've got to look busy and look busy for the perception of the business that we're busy. Yeah.
And this is why
you work yourself to death.
That's it. And this is why I've set this up, because people see the cars, the watches, the houses, the lifestyle, the holiday, but people don't see what goes behind it. You nearly died, Singh. Like, I remember when I got that message from you as well, I'm like, that's serious. Like, buddy, are you okay? Like, is there anything anyone can do to help you? But at that time, no one can, apart from yourself.
No, you listen, you've got to make the changes. You've got to realise what's going on. By all means hustle, but you got to listen to yourself and you got to balance it. You've got to have that work-life balance. So now I have that work-life balance.
What's your morning routine? What, like, when you wake up, what's your routine? Do you have anything in place?
I've now, towards my later stages of life, because after 50, well, I'm not 50 yet, but after 50, it's your last third of your life, basically. You can split your life up into blocks of 25. Yeah. First third, second third, last third. Right, so this last third is now I've got the money to look forward to. Good day, more day, not working. Yeah. All of this, tablets, all eat about 8 a day. When I'm 10 years time, up a solar. Right. So this is what we've got to look forward to. Yeah. Right. So this is now where you've got to make your life easier. The whole point of working your nuts off, and working like crazy when you're young should be to make your life easier when you get old. Yeah. Instead, we just go the same level until we're in the grave, which is not right. So now what I've done is I bought a house which is 7 minutes away from my work. So I don't have to leave my home until 9:30 because we open at 10. And even then I'm here by 9:45. Yeah, I can go home. I have my appointments at set time during the day. Yeah, the rest I have telephone appointments, so I don't have to see people physically. I can do them by Skype, Zoom, or by the phone as well. Yeah, and then I don't work myself to death. My school is for the kids is across the road from my workplace, so it's all nearby. I live right near the airport, so 5 minutes away when I catch my flights, because I catch 6-7 flights a year because I go to India a lot because the office is there as well. M40 when I go to Birmingham once a week is on my doorstep. So I've looked at convenience. It's not that I can't buy a house in Garrett's Cross, or I can't move to Solihull, or I can't go and live in Chigwell. Of course I can. Yeah,
it's the convenience.
But it's a convenience. If after what's happened to me, the one thing I've learned to value is time. Time does not wait for you. Yeah. If I'd have died, this world would have mourned for me an hour, and then would have carried on. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Even my own family would have carried on. I see that all the day. I see everyone carry on. No one goes to pieces. The world carries on. The world clock doesn't stop. So now I realise, look, any time I spend in a car travelling to work, it's wasted time for me. I don't want to spend 2 hours travelling to work and 2 hours coming back. I'm only gaining nothing from 4 hours. Yeah. So what I do now is I've made it all convenient for me, so that I save the amount of time, and I spend that time with my kids and my parents instead. Or I can spend that time at the gym instead. For me, I've learnt that that's the one takeaway that I've taken from that is time is important. health is important. Yeah, mental health is important. And the
do you do anything for your mental health?
I do loads of stuff.
Like meditation, part?
Very rarely that. I talk.
Okay.
So I talk to people about their problems, and then I tell them mine. There are very few people, but I have people who I open up to and I tell my problems to, and I have to talk. You have to talk. We can't bottle this stuff in. I've seen people who we're told in our society, and I've been told the same. Banda bana, you're the man up, carry everyone on your back. I've seen, don't worry, suck it all in. I've seen people suck it all in, and it doesn't end well for them. They end up taking their own life. One day you wake up for no reason, and there are reasons, but you can't see a way forward. So you take your own life. That's how dark it gets when you suck it all in. That's the worst advice you can give someone. You need to get it all out. Even if you go and talk to a stranger, that's what the Samaritans are for. Yeah, you sit there, you just talk to them, and you get it all out your system. This whole pressure that society puts on people, that you've got to be the one, you're the only one there, you've got this, you've got to do that. We lose ourselves in all this.
Yeah.
We lose ourselves in all this, and there's much more male suicide now. The rates are going up so much, and your people are taking their own lives, and it's just not on. In our community, it's brushed over. It's not even talked about. Yeah. I don't know when someone takes their own life. You know what people say? Oh, yeah. They don't even say, "Gone up in John Lee." They're not willing to face the situation, and yet
shy away from the word.
Yeah, and you know that person's taken their own life because that's the phrasing that they'll use. Yeah,
has there ever been a low point in your life apart from the health issue before that, growing up, where you're like, you know what, I'm done now. I'm done with what I'm doing. I'm just gonna give up, or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's been loads of low points. To be fair, I've been close to giving up on business. At one stage, I was just ready to go back and go to McDonald's, man, because that's where I was happy. Yeah, but then I thought, right, you know what, Harjap? Yeah, if you fail, yeah, or if you get tired, you learn to rest. You don't give up, and that's important. So anyone who's getting tired, you don't give up. Learn to rest. Learn to take breaks. I've learned the importance of holidays. You believe it? After 10 years after I was married, I never had a holiday. And I was working myself. And then I got a friend who works at the airport, and she told me, she goes, "John, don't you have to take holidays?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Why don't you take a holiday? You should take one every 4 months." And I said, "You what?" I said, she goes, "Yeah." I'm all right. Said, then I tried it, and then I thought, this is good.
Best feeling in the world, isn't it?
I don't have to pick the phone up, don't have to do nothing, and I'm by a beach. I'm in Dubai, and I'm loving it. So now I swear by holidays. Every year I'll try and get 2 out. I'll try and get a holiday out, just try and turn off. Because that's one of the best things you can do, is to recharge. Even your phone di battery, our phone di battery, every mukdiya.
Yeah.
And when mukdiya, recharge karna penda.
Yeah.
So time to time baad break. Body is the same. You need a break, and your mind is the same. So if you're in a dark spot at the moment, and things are hard, trust me, I've been there. Don't give up. You don't have to give up. Just learn to rest. That's what we've got to do. We've got to learn to rest and make sure you've got the right group of people around you. Sometimes we sit there and we think we're depressed. Actually, we're not depressed. We're just surrounded by the wrong people.
Yes, it's Sangat.
Yeah, Sangat. Sangat is very important. Sangat is very important. I'm a guy who went from having 100 friends and acquaintances now to probably having 2 or 3 who I can count on my fingers. I've been there. I've seen the people I've been there. People used to say, "Harjap, you got an entourage, bro." And I've seen them and I've dropped them all because they went in it for themselves. They weren't in it for me. They didn't care about my health. Right. Do you remember Marcy when I was in hospital?
Yeah.
And the worst thing was they were taking flights from the airport. And I was only 5 minutes away from the airport. They could have come and seen me, right? So then I thought, right, yeah, I'm telling you, it's not the best way to find out who your friends are or not. But yeah, if you get ill, there's definitely an indicator of who, and and I know. How long does it take to drop a message or a voice note? It doesn't take that long. In fact, that's my other claim to fame, that I have taught the Punjabi world how to voice note.
Yeah.
Because you know me and my voice notes, right?
Tons of them.
Right? And I always get that. And I always get people say, "Harjap, we did not know about voice notes until you voice noted us." And they go, "Now we swear by it too." And I thought, well, I'm not sitting there typing out a message. You know,
just
like
2 seconds.
I could just send you my voice and Galakatam. And the worst thing was, I used a voice note. People used to type out massive replies to me, and I'd say, "Why don't you just send the voice note back?" And it was a lot easier, isn't it? And then so yeah, it's my claim to fame. I claim that one.
No, 100% sure. Like you're probably one of the only people that voice note me. But you know, mazavi anda sun ke. You play it a couple of times. You have a little laugh about it. You know that yaadgar hai jindi hai.
It's personal.
It's personal. It is one-to-one personal. I agree.
It's personal. I got voice notes from people who are no longer with us.
I was going to say that's another important thing is just having that memory of that voice note from people that you don't talk to, or they've gone from this world.
Yeah. Like Balwinder Safri. So I've still got his voice notes. Yeah, because I had him booked for my friend's wedding that summer before he passed away. So I've still got all the voice notes where I have a laugh with him, and I used to, and we had got all these laughs on voice notes. So people can have voice notes of their dad and mum, and they can hang on to that after they're no longer around, instead of trying to look at pictures and videos. And voice note is the way forward. It's always been the way forward.
That's the way Harjap does business. So that's a good tip to have.
Voice notes, yeah.
But just to sign it off,
you're privileged.
Just to sign it off with the next generation getting into the legal field, what's one piece of advice you'd give them?
Well, one thing is definitely we've all set up an organisation to help up-and-coming people in the legal field called Sikhs in Law. So that's another thing that I'm really proud of. I set up this organisation, Baldeep Singh, Alok as well, and a few of us who set up this organisation to help the next generation of lawyers who can't get jobs. We get them work experience. We help them in the legal sector. We try and give them all of our experience to help them get a way forward. Because when we were in the legal field, no one was helping us. We had to wait on these odd chances here or there. There were no organisations. But like I said, now we're helping our own, because there comes a point when we want to, I've always been a community person, so I always want to put back into the communities that I've been from, whether it's Southall, whether it's Essex and East London, or whether it's the Punjabi, Birmingham, my favourite place where it never rains. And also, generally the Punjabi community as a whole, I want to put back into my community. I always see that. That will be some sort of legacy for me, my sukoon. You know what? I'm happy I did that. Everyone works for themselves. It's people who work for others who are the ones
a good saying there.
Yeah, everyone works for themselves, but if you work for others, that's the key. That's the key to fulfillment. That's the next stage. When you've had enough of earning your millions, your cars, your watches, your iPads and all that, your offices, and you're thinking, right, what can I do now? There's an answer is to help others. And you help others get there and help those who are underprivileged who've never had a chance. Hence what we do for fundraising for charities like DKMS and Unique Home for Girls, where we do a fundraiser. We've got another one coming up this year, and a big champion of charities like this. So this is the key. This is the key. How do you want to be remembered? Yeah. Do you want to be remembered as someone who did something primarily just for themselves? Yeah. Or do you want to be someone who did everything, helped others as well? You've got to help yourself in order to be able to help others as well. 100%. Yeah, but once you're there, it's time to put in, and that's why we set up Sikhs in Law. My advice is, look, join Sikhs in Law. It's for everyone. It's not just for Sikhs, despite the name. It's only called Sikhs in Law because it's set up by Sikhs. Yeah. So what you need to do is join them. We'll try and guide you, help you. It's a competitive field out there, and I'm glad there's other organisations that have now opened. Sikhs in academia, Sikhs in politics. So there's Sikhs in medicine. There's Sikh doctors, British Sikh nurses.
Yeah.
There's so many sort of organisations out there that people can join, professionals can join. It'll be, we'll try and help as much as we can. Learn from our mistakes and our experience. That's what I do.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I've been learning from other people's mistakes. Don't wait to make them yourself. You learn from your own anyway.
Yeah.
If you can learn from Harjap on his deathbed about changing your lifestyle habits and stop being a pub hero, take yourself seriously, do that. Don't wait to become a Harjap on his deathbed and then learn. You're going to learn don't learn the hard way, man. There's an easy way to learn. That's why looking at other people's mistakes and saying, damn, I'm not going to do that. And then you'll be successful.
That's exactly what we got this for, is to learn from others.
Education, man. I always say it doesn't matter what the problem is. The answer is always education. That's my catchphrase.
Any final words before we go?
Nothing really. Just keep on watching these podcasts like this. This is what they're there for. Information is very sort of undervalued. People always expect you to give it for free, Yeah, people always expect like your advice for free. People always will phone Tej and say, Tej, my IT system's down, my website's down, sort this out. But when Tej wants to be paid for it, then they're like, oh, what? Tu paise bhi lena? Nahi, main to hava khana. You know, hava khana.
हवा खाना that's
हवा आके
it.
मेरी mortgage दे देंदी है. हवा आके मेरे न्याणे दी uniform खरीद लेंदी है.
I'm sure you get a lot of that as well, Hannah.
The monopoly money pay ya.
Yeah.
So people expect it for free. If someone gives you information, appreciate it.
Appreciate it, respect it.
It's information and education that changes lives.
And I think, like you said before, it's time as well. People don't respect each other's time.
Yeah.
You probably get it all the time. Baji minu visa chahiye, just
all the
at a
time.
pot.
All the time. All the time, man. I hear it all day in, day out, from 4 o'clock. My first call this morning I received was at 4 o'clock. I don't even need an alarm clock.
Some people just
people from India. Yeah, it was someone from India. They have no respect for time. कि लो 5 घंटे पीछे या उठे 4 बजे सवेर में नहीं 9 बजे हम तो खोलेगा. Mate, it's not quite that. So
or you wake up for me. But no, thank you so much for your time, Harjap. And like I said, we're going to definitely have a part 2.
No,
like
definitely. Loads to discuss.
Yeah, but thank you so much. But,
no, thank you.
Thank you. So behind the hustle.